Alright, so we're going to be talking about Skate, the new Skate. I don't know what you want to call it. Skate 4, it's not really what it's called. They're just calling it Skate. This is currently in early access. Currently, it's in pre-early access, I guess you could say. So, I've been playtesting it for a couple months. I got a little bit late on the playtest. And essentially, right now, anyone who is playtesting it, watermarks are gone now. We're allowed to share content. It's basically the early access build. There might be another update, I'm not sure. When it's available for all players, but it's going to be available for all players on the 16th of September. It's currently August 30th at the time of recording this, and yesterday, August 29th, I filmed a video on this game, just kind of like the first hour or so of the game, and there were some mixed responses in the comments, and then not just in my comment section, but I've seen people just online mixed comments, right? People that have been getting hands-on, having a lot of fun with it, but you know, there's some critiques, there's some good, there's some bad. So this is going to be sort of like an unscripted, not an actual like review as of yet. I'm going to try to spend a little bit more time with the game to do like maybe a full in-depth review, but it's kind of, I guess, not first impressions because I've been playing it, you know, a little bit longer than just a little bit, but you know, I guess you can call it first impressions. It's going to be the good and the bad of this game as of right now, okay, as of early access, because this is what you got to understand. This is a game that's going to be ever expanding, and yes, I am recording this as a live com, so I'm just kind of skating around right now, and I'm going to be showing you guys some stuff in the menus, different things like that in a second here. So yeah, it's one of those kind of games that's going to be expanding. That was their vision for this game, an ever-expanding online growing community, and that idea has a lot of potential. I'll say that, you know, first and foremost, that idea has a ton of potential to grow into something, you know, pretty epic, but it also has the potential to, you know, kind of miss what made the original 3 Skate games. And I say the original 3, I mean, I know there's Skate It on the Wii, but, you know, most people haven't played that game. I have. It was fun. But anyways, so, yeah, I guess for my quick backstory on that, I have played a lot of Skate 3. It's my favorite Skate. You know, I've played a ton of it, especially when we didn't have any other kind of Skate games to play. And I played a good amount of Skate 1 and 2 before Skate 3 came out, so, you know, I have a good amount of hours in it. Obviously, if you guys have been around the channel for a while, you know I've played a ton of Tony Hawk Pro Skater. I played a little bit of Session, a little bit of Skater XL. Not really a huge fan. I prefer Skate, you know, and it's a little bit more arcadey than that kind of more realistic or closer to realistic simulation that Session and Skater XL are. So, let me just kind of go through this. In terms of the music, I can't really say because I've had it on streamer mode, so that's one thing that I can't actually talk about. So in terms of music, there seems to be a lot of soundtracks, but yeah, I don't have a lot to say about that. Let me start with the graphics because that's the most obvious thing you guys can see. And again, you know, they're calling this beta still. Like if I go into the PlayStation Home menu, you can see it says beta right there, right? And for some reason it says I've 9 hours only played. I'm sure I played a lot more than 9 hours. But anyways, point is, it says beta. I guess the only way that I can think of comparing this to is Fortnite. If you guys are familiar with Fortnite, whether you love it or hate it, Fortnite for the first, like, what, couple years, they were calling it beta, and then it finally came out of beta, and then it was like just kind of, you know, normal. Anyways, but, you know, the textures were not fully fleshed out. You know, graphically it was not fully fleshed out. You know, the graphics, you know, graphically got a lot better. Mechanically, obviously, they built upon it. And they still change things. It's kind of ever-growing. And maybe that's kind of the idea of this game is supposed to be sort of like that, right? Except instead of like an FPS battle royale, it's a skateboarding game, right? So, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of what the idea is with this game, right? So, point being is graphically, I think it doesn't look super nice. You know, I think it could look a lot nicer. I think Skate 3... okay, it's hard, right? Because Skate 3, like, obviously it's dated, right? It was like a 360 and a PS3 game. But even then, like, the graphics style feels like, you know, maybe better in a sense. This feels a little too cartoony, if that makes sense for my liking. But maybe they'll grow upon that, like I said, like Fortnite did. You know, they'll kind of build upon the graphics and whatnot. It looks okay. You know, it doesn't look bad, but the textures do look a little... The textures and the colors, you know, as cartoony as it looks, the colors and the textures look a little kind of flat, I guess. Mostly the textures. I don't know. I feel like there's something about the aesthetics that are flat, especially like, let's say I go outside here and you look at like these buildings. I don't know. It just kind of looks, you know. I don't know. It's just not super appealing to look at, in my opinion. But look, that is what it is. Mechanically, how does it feel? I will say it feels a lot better than it did in the pre, like in the alpha or whatever they were calling it. It felt a little more clunky then. This build here feels a lot smoother.
A mission that you started. Oh wait.
Yeah, a mission that I started. Wait, so that's cool. So this feels a lot smoother than it did, but I don't know. In my opinion, it doesn't feel as smooth as you know, Skate 3 did, right? Which I don't know. Maybe I'm just too used to Skate 3. You know, that is possible. But I do like the way Skate 3 feels more than this. But this doesn't feel bad. It just feels a little like. And again, I'm not putting a lot of weight into this, so don't run with this one. But it feels a little like clunky-ish. Not a lot. Just a little like. It could be smoother, you know. It could be a little bit more buttery, if you will, right? And I will say, right, you can run obviously with square. You can climb things, which is cool. So that's an appeal that I really like. You can climb up into like some really high places. It's kind of like Uncharted, you know, Tomb Raider style climbing. Maybe I'll show you guys in a second. I'm just trying to get to the roof because the roof's kind of a cool spot. You can kind of see a lot of the city from up here, sort of. So yeah, so you know you can climb. So you can climb things, and so that kind of creates potential, you know, with that parkour to get into places that, you know, you may not have otherwise been able to get to in other games, right? For example, you know, if there's like ledges somewhere like that building right there, I think I could probably climb this building from the bottom. I'll try in a second to show you guys. But so climbing, you know, the parkour is really cool. You know, I like that. There's also, you know, like a social hub, so I can open a social hub. I can see random people, so I can spectate people. There's just a random person, by the way. I can teleport to that person if I want to see, you know, if I'm watching them, and I'm like, oh, I want to check out that spot that they're at. I could teleport. I could spectate them. I could invite them to a party, add them as a friend, block, report, you know, whatever. So there, you know, there's a lot of options here. You know, you got your friends, your quests, search, your settings. So you know, you can have crossplay on or off. So a lot of cool like community social aspects, and I think that's the big grasp about this game is the social pull, right? I think that's and I think, you know, I think that has a lot of potential to be endless kickflip. That's sick. I think this game has a lot of potential to be, you know, really cool if a lot of people catch on to it, especially with, you know, the online, you know, aspects of it. But it kind of really depends, you know, if you know, if people really kind of grasp and latch on to the game in that same way, because that also has the potential to kind of hinder the game, because then you have a little bit less of a linear experience, right? You have a little bit more of okay, that was cool. You have a little bit more of sort of an open world experience, which is a cool take. But that kind of leads me to some other stuff, which is like challenges and stuff, right? In the map. Well, let's take a look at the map real quick. So the map is like this, right? It's it's not huge. There's a lot of spots, and that's one thing that people, you know, I heard some people say is that, you know, in terms of the spots, you don't really have to hunt as much for spots to do lines on, right? Because it's like everything's just kind of set up already there for you. And it's a little less, you know, I mean, there's discoverability in terms of finding like certain lines, but, you know, it's just like everything's a line, which is okay. I'm not really complaining about that. It's just something that I've seen some people complain about. So there's 4 districts in this area, and each one has their own level. And eventually you unlock the district. I mean, I can go here at any time, by the way. I can skate over there. It's just I don't have like the challenges and being able to level up that area, that neighborhood, if you will, until I've completed 250 challenges. And then over here, this is under construction. So this is actually not currently, they don't have any challenges there just yet. Again, you can skate there, but you can't get fast travel spots, things like that. So anyways, again, there's like leveling for each area. I don't know if it caps out at 10, level 10 or not, but I know level 10 is where, you know, there's a trophy for getting the level 10 in Hedgemont, level 10 in this area, and so on and so forth. And then each area also has like their own skate shop. So let me go to the skate shop here. So if I'm going into the skate shop, you can see, and you can access this, you know, wherever. So you can see Hedgemont. If I level it up, there's like these kind of supply box drop things, sort of things, and you earn currency. Top right corner, you can see I have currency. I earn that currency just by doing challenges and stuff, which I'll talk about in a second. And then I can use that to kind of get a mystery box. Now I can press square to view the contents of this mystery box. If there's nothing in here that I like, then I could just go look at a different box, be like, all right, what, you know, what's in here? For example, this one right here, I liked these camo pants, which I actually have equipped. So I just kept hitting it up until I got the camo pants, which which I think I got like on the 8th try, and I just completed the box because why not, and whatnot. So let me show you what that looks like. I'll just open up a random box so you can see I got a new reward. This is one of the boxes for this first neighborhood. I can skip this. You can just see, you know, all the rewards. I'm also going to get, excuse me, 20 rep in this area as well. So you're also going to get rep for that as well. You're going to get a little bit of a rip score. Rip score is kind of like your overall, I guess, level score, if you will, and whatnot. And again, you unlock these at different levels. So this is level 8 for this neighborhood, not for player level, but for this neighborhood. I will unlock this set of boxes and rewards at level 8 here. And then this one here, the gold one, that's just for the other neighborhood that you guys seen a second ago, the Gullcrest Village. And again, there's, you know, more rewards here. You know, I can check out this one. You can see some of the rewards from, you know, different kind of wearables and stuff. So I mean, you know, yeah, it's cool. And then there are purchasable stuff too as well, right? So there's the Founders Pack and the Founders Deluxe Pack if you want like special kind of, you know, cosmetics. These right here are all bought with real money. So you can see, and I'm in Canadian currency, so I'm about to show you the prices for that, and that's gonna, you know, you're gonna see that in Canadian currency. So keep that in mind. It's gonna look a little bit more expensive than it is. So, for example, 500 credits, like $7, right? 13.49 for 1,050 credits, and like 500 credits. That's gonna get me 2 rewards, like this camo shirt and maybe this bucket hat, you know, for $7 Canadian, which is like $5 US roughly. So you can kind of see, you know, how the microtransactions work. I believe the game is free to play rather. So again, they're taking that sort of Fortnite-esque route. I know I'm comparing a lot to Fortnite, but that's kind of how that works. You have your customization. I feel like there's not a lot of customization options. You can see a little bit more of that in my video of the first hour of the game, because that actually shows, you know, beard options and head shape options and eye shape options and eyebrow options and all that stuff, right? But again, you got your apparel you can unlock, like I said, through those rewards and whatnot. You know, you got your accessories, headwear, eyewear, socks. You got your board, right? So there's different boards you can put on. I don't have a lot of boards now, so I've just been rocking kind of the default one right now. Maybe I'll throw on the purple one or something at some point. But anyways, and then, you know, you got your grip patterns you can unlock, excuse me, which is kind of cool. And again, these are classified with rarity as well. This is epic, this is rare, this is uncommon. So, you know, different grip tape colors if you're into that. I got the camo one on. Different trucks. Actually, I'm going to throw those ones on. Different wheels. You know, you can put stickers on your board if you want to. You can see there's 3 placements for the stickers. And yeah, so there's a little bit of customization there. There's gestures, right? So, you know, you can equip 4 different gestures. Appearance, yeah. So this, I can actually show you guys what the appearance looks like as well. So again, there's not a lot of options, right? Face shapes, you can kind of see. No, that's it. That's it. Maybe we'll add more later on, you know? Again, if you want to see a little bit more detail of this, you can check out that other video. Just at the beginning of the video where, you know, I did the first hour or so of the game. But just kind of run this quick, you know, again, not a ton of customization options, which is kind of ironic for a game that is supposed to be very, you know, social based, right? So I thought there'd be more, but there's unfortunately not. Then you have tasks, which are sort of like daily missions, I guess you could say, which I've already done the daily tasks right now. But you can see if you do all of them, you get an extra amount of rewards, which is the spendable currency for those loot boxes or whatever you want to call them. And then there's also weekly tasks, which give you, you know, higher amounts of currency or whatever, right? So, and you can see, you know, it's a little bit harder. You know, bigger challenges like get 250,000 score in Hedgemont, for example, and whatever. So that's that. And then missions is where I get a little bit disappointed. So missions, I've already done most of them. I assume they're going to add more in the future, hopefully, right? But right now, these are mostly like tutorials, and you know, the missions in like Skate 1, 2, 3, they felt more story oriented. And I know this is sort of like an online growing kind of universe, world, whatever, but it'd be nice to see some missions that are more kind of story based and a little less just like tutorial based. You know what I mean? So that's kind of my gripe with these missions. You can see that I have yet to unlock this one. I have to complete challenge goals, which I'm going to now talk about. So let's go over to challenge goals. So those are the missions. Let me check the rip score real quick. You guys can see, again, I already talked about this. My player card, I can edit the card. I can put different kind of emblems on if I want to, and different things like that, which is kind of cool. So, yeah, that's kind of how that works. Anyways, let's go back. I'm going to go to the main menu. So these are those goals. So when I was talking about right here, I got to complete challenge goals. These are that. So anyone with a clock over them, those are rotating ones. So those are going to be rotated. You can see at the time of recording this, is going to rotate in 2 hours. Now, the thing is, at the time of recording this, I played all day yesterday before the reset. And I've done every single challenge that I basically have available for me in both neighborhoods that I have unlocked. So these have different different difficulties. Like this one here is just amateur. So there's going to be 3 more simpler kind of, you know, goals. This one's going to have 4. It's going to be a semi-pro. It's a little bit harder. There's ones that are going to be 5. Those are going to be considered pro. And it'll be a little bit trickier to kind of get them all done. Let me show you what one looks like. I got one right here behind me. So I'll show you these ones here. So there's 3 or 4 categories. For example, these ones here are based on lines. So you have to basically collect all of the bearings. The bearings are basically a way to kind of navigate you through the line. These ones here are just kind of like basically own the spot, if you will, which is cool. These are Hall of Meat, if you will. They call them stunts, but well, it's not just Hall of Meat. It's not just slams. It could be like, you know, you got to do a spread eagle off a really big building into a caveman into a bank or something. You know what I mean? So it's not just Hall of Meat. It's not just slams. So that's why they call them stunts. Then we got these are kind of more sessions. It'll be like, you know, there'll be a set time. It'll be like, you know, get this amount of score, manual this distance, do this many grinds or whatever. And those are kind of the only ones that we have right now. Maybe they'll add more variants in the future. So I feel like these eventually start to get a little bit redundant, a little bit tedious, a little bit too repetitive. Nonetheless, I'm going to redo one right here. So I'm just going to go up to it and I'm going to hold triangle.
Line it up again.
And you can start these co-op as well. So if you're in a party, you can do these on co-op with someone. But let me go ahead and start this in. I'm just going to skip this. So look, I have to get a total attempt score of 3,000. I have to do a double flip trick specifically at the gap at the booth. And you can see there's a little like yellow star icon. That means like I'm going to see the star icon above that area when I get there. And body flip off the planter, which has a circle kind of area or icon, which again, it'll show me. And it tells me how to do a backflip or whatever as well.
Oh.
Now, if I do all of them in a single attempt, I also get an extra bonus. So again, you see I got to collect the bearings. So I'm going to go here, you know. Okay, I messed that up.
This time.
I messed up my ollie, so I'm gonna grab the bearing and I gotta ollie down here. I don't have to ollie there. Why am I missing my ollie? Come on, dude. I have no idea. This spot, I remember this. I remember this one. This spot feels like bugged. Like he doesn't ollie. For some reason, he doesn't ollie properly at this spot. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just me. Yeah, see, every single time I can't get up there. I'm just gonna nollie up. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Anyways, whatever. Let me just go around. So like I said, the beauty of this is I don't have to go, you know, that way. I can kind of go around like this. I do it however I want, as long as I'm getting those bearings. So right there, right, I gotta do a double flip trick. I missed that one, but anyways. So okay, let me try to show you guys this again. Because this is not. There you go. So you gotta, if you don't get every bearing, you've basically kind of failed the challenge. So I missed that bearing. But anyways, the point is I would have to double flip over that gap. I would have to get this bearing right here. You see that circle over there? So I'm just following kind of the pathway. Just pretend that I have all the bearings. So I would have to go off of here, and I'd have to do like a flip off of that planter. And then the last bearing would be right here, which is a green bearing. And then that would be it. I'd be done. If I had every bearing. And again, you can see that the icons at the top left were circled as if I had done every challenge, which I did, but I didn't get every bearing. So, you know, does that make sense? So that's how the lines work. Again, these challenges are cool. Some of them are, you know, tricky. Some of them are a little bit more simple. They're nice challenges, but again, they kind of sort of get a little bit redundant. If I'm using the right word there. At some point, I don't know why I keep saying the same person keeps coming online. I have no idea what's going on here. So there, again, it's early access, still some bugs, right? But there you go. I did the front flip, got the green bearing, and there you go. The line's done. So you can see how that kind of works. So that's essentially the gist of these goals, right? And you know, it'll show you a little bit of a replay at the end there. If you want to watch it, it's up to you. You can retry it. You can just kind of continue, and that's going to be that. So again, they're fun. And some of them are, you know, very unique, but some of them get really, really annoying. You know what I mean? I'll show you this one here since I'm here. I'm not going to do the whole thing, but just show you what a stunt one looks like. So essentially, let me go off here. So I'm going to do a spread eagle. I got to hit all of these speakers here. And again, it doesn't have to be in one jump. You see, I have 4 minutes to do everything that it tells me to do. So I can kind of fall into the speakers. I missed that one. I got that one though. So I would have to go back. I'd have to hit that speaker, that last speaker there. I'd have to hit all the speakers over here. I have to get a total slam score, which is really easy to get. I have to hit these speakers. I have to get over there and hit those speakers, which I would have to kind of soar into. So again, you get the sort of gist of it. I'm going to end it though. Challenge abandoned and head split open. So that's how that one works, right? So again, I just want to show you guys, you know, how some of the different sort of challenges work. I know this video is long, but I'm trying to give you guys as much information about this game as possible. Again, you don't have to pay for the game at launch, right? Yeah, they said it's free to play. So this one here, you know, this is just sort of a session, right? So I gotta jump the stage twice, which is this. So I gotta do that twice. I gotta grind these lower bleachers twice. So I can grind this one, and then I can go and grind this one over here, and then I would be basically done. And then I gotta get a total score of 4,000, and then that's it. And then I'm basically done the challenge. So again, some of these challenges are gonna rotate, you know, daily. Like this one here, it's on a timer. So once you're done all the challenges for the day, though, it's like, what do you do? I guess you can redo them, but that's the part that kind of is like, now I gotta wait. Which I guess is fine. Like, you know, if you're playing Skate 3 or something, you only have so many missions. If you fly through the entire game, then there's like literally nothing left. At least these rotate. So that's kind of like a silver lining as well. But yeah, I think, you know, that's kind of the gist of it. You know, you have your replay editor as well. So if I hold down on the left D-pad, I can adjust the music right here. I can go to Skatepedia. So Skatepedia is basically going to be like all your different tricks. So if you want to know how to do different tricks, kind of view it right there. You know, you have your quick drop, so I can just kind of add objects as I see fit. And you might be like, there's not a lot of objects here. Objects are also things you unlock either by, you know, doing certain missions, or you know, some of those loot box things I showed you guys that you get with the free in-game currency, not the paid currency. Okay, the neighborhood currency, if you will. Yeah, and then you have throwdowns, which is kind of like this multiplayer sort of thing. You got music player, you got the replay editor.
Check the footy.
So we can check our footy here. So I can go back. I could be like, oh, okay. No, there's actually nothing here. But I can trim it right as I see fit. You know, I can have that clip. I can then, you know, change the camera angle. Obviously, if I want to focus on the head, if I want to focus on the board, or if I just want a free camera, which I can clip into the underground if I want to, I guess. Why not, right? Why not? So that's kind of how that works. Again, you can see throwdowns are here. Let me see if I can launch a throwdown. So I gotta wait for players. So it says 2 out of 4. So I guess there's already another guy waiting. We have 2 minutes. Throwdowns are something that I actually have not yet done. It's the only thing I haven't done. So as we're waiting for this to kind of load up, let me see if there's anything else that I was forgetting here. I think that's kind of the gist of it. Really, I think I've went through everything. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. But what are my first impressions? I mean, it feels a little bare bones right now. I would like to see a variety of missions, not just tutorial style missions, but missions that I think I just accidentally canceled the throwdown maybe. I might have done that. A variety of different kind of, you know, story-esque missions, you know, not just these challenges here. And with these challenges, I hope there's like a variety, more of a variety that they add later on, not just these ones, but something just kind of make it feel a little less repetitive. Because right now, it's feeling a little repetitive. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's a game that I would say, like, yeah, it's worth playing for sure. And I would take this over like no skate, obviously, but it has some work to be done. You know, graphically, mechanically, it's pretty solid right now. Like I said, it could be smoothened out a little bit. I feel like it's still not as buttery as it could be. There's a couple little hiccups here and there. It's still beta, they're calling it, so it's understandable. But like I said, I'll be interested to see, you know, how they kind of grow the world. And the question too is like, this is kind of a small map, okay? Eventually, they're gonna have to expand this map, and maybe that's why there's like all this area out here. Maybe they're able to kind of like attach new areas, and that's something that they're gonna do. And I hope they do, because if they never add new areas, this is going to get way too stale, way too quick, because this is just way too small. This is good for the time being. You know, this could last for, you know, a couple months, maybe a few months max, but like eventually you're going to have to add, you know, you have to grow this island, because it's not going to be big enough. But for now, it's really good. And like I said, I'm having a lot of fun with what it is right now, but it's very repetitive. And that's my biggest gripe right now, is it's very repetitive, and I don't know, it's just there's something missing with the charm that we had in the first 3 skate games that is just kind of missing in here. And what that is, I can't put my finger on, but I hope that they can put their finger on, and that they can continue to expand this world. Again, it's a great game right now, but it's got some work to be done, and thankfully it's free to play. So September 16th is going to be available for everybody. I highly recommend playing it, because it is still a lot of fun. And, you know, give your feedback, you know, constructively to the EA team, to the skate team, rather. And, you know, they'll continue to grow it. That's kind of the whole idea, is why they've had all this kind of community play testing up until this point, is to get the community involved and get your guys' feedback as well. So share your feedback with them constructively. Don't just be like, yo, this sucks, bro. Do better. Like, be specific. Help them out, man. You know, if you think something's bad, tell them what's bad. What do you dislike? You know, try to be as specific as you can, and that'll help them to understand how to make the game even better. So that's kind of what I got. So if I missed anything, let me know. If you have any questions, leave a like, subscribe for more. Let me know if you want to see more skate videos of any sort. And yeah, until the next one, my friends. Game on. I'll see you guys soon.